Speaker, how desperate is that government? The guy they put up to deflect and dissemble could only come up with unemployment on a day that it stayed the same, from 6% to 6%. And as the Labor opposition's, why doesn't he listen to this? As the Labor opposition has revealed, long-term unemployment under this government has tripled since it took office. If that's the best they can do in a general debate, they really are in trouble. Monetary policy he mentioned. He obviously didn't like it. I'll tell you why he didn't like it, because the Employers and Manufacturers Association did. Federated Farmers did. The Manufacturers and Exporters Association did. The bank economists largely did. Former Reserve Bank Governor Brash did. And bank board members did. So that's why Stephen Joyce did not, because New Zealanders did. They know it means lower interest rates. They know it means a better export economy with better jobs and higher wages. And hasn't, ladies and gentlemen, the last week just shown the contrast between these two parties? On this side, politics as usual. On this side, a party of new ideas that wants to put people first. That is what Labor's about, putting New Zealanders first, putting New Zealanders first. This government puts money first. That is the common theme of the sad parade of the last couple of weeks. They put subsidising Rio Tinto ahead of compensating Pike River. They chose to help Sky City, not to end child poverty. They chose the Cabinet Club, Orovida and Morris Williams's donor call to the police. They are privileging wealthy donors and granting special access to ministers. And it is our duty, Mr. Speaker, though it gives us no pleasure, to point that out to New Zealanders. Well, there's the laugh of the damned, Mr. Speaker. There's the laugh of the damned. They're damned because John Key came to office 5 years ago promising, and I quote, to be a breath of fresh air. I think he was bouncing from cloud to cloud at the time, but that's what he promised. He promised high standards of his ministers. He didn't promise Orovida and draining the swamp. That's what he's got. He didn't promise ministers intervening with the police to help out wealthy donors. He didn't promise ministers taking wholesale donations and then forgetting that they got them. Mr. Speaker, those are not the standards New Zealanders expect. That is sadly what politics as usual has become. But it's not good enough. And it's not what Labor stands for, sir. What Labor stands for is putting New Zealanders first. We have a positive agenda which is about our children. The idea that every single New Zealand child deserves the best possible start, irrespective of where they're born, irrespective of who their parents are or where they come from, irrespective of the size of their family's wallet or home. Every child deserves the best start. And that is why the Labor Party has been working so hard to bring the Best Start package to end the fact that 1 in 4 of our children is growing up in poverty. 1 in 4 of our children growing up in poverty, and that government is enriching itself and its members and their families, not the most vulnerable children of this land. Mr. Speaker, every New Zealand child deserves to grow up in a warm, dry, healthy home. And there are 5,000 families in New Zealand on the waiting list for a state home. Isn't it sad that the Prime Minister cancelled 500 state houses in his own electorate of Hobsonville? And the same Prime Minister tells us how he came up from a family that depended on a state house. Mr. Speaker, the difference between the government and the opposition is we don't pull up the ladder. We put all New Zealanders first. We don't mind hard work, but we want every New Zealand child to have the opportunities that we had. Politics as usual, politics for people. It's an easy choice in 2014.
Honourable Chris Finlayson.
Mr Speaker, I agree that the past week has been